Hey YouTube, how's it going? VenomMan20 here tonight, and tonight we're going to be looking at this beautiful rattlesnake, which is known as Crotalus molossus, also known as the black-tailed rattlesnake. So stay tuned.
All venomous snake handling in this video is performed by a professional. Please don't try anything you're about to see at home.
So this rattlesnake I have sitting right here in front of me is Crotalus molossus, or the black-tailed rattlesnake. So these guys are pretty awesome. I really like the coloration on these animals. So this one, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful localities of all the black-tailed rattlesnakes, which are one of my favorite species. This animal actually derived from the Huachucan mountain range, which just has a very nice color and very nice pattern to them. If you're an expert in localities, you can tell this just by looking at the animal. If you're not real familiar, you might not be able to tell. But these guys, of course, get their name, blacktail, because they have this beautiful black tail. As you hear him rattling, hopefully you can hear me okay over the rattle. But this is about a mid-sized rattlesnake, so they don't get as big as the eastern diamondbacks or the western diamondbacks here in America. But they do live here in North America. These guys are typically found in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and a large chunk of Mexico. So what's interesting about this species is they tend to be relatively docile, relatively calm. This guy's a little fired up. He doesn't know exactly what's going on. But all in all, they're not too bad temperament-wise compared to a lot of other rattlesnakes. What's up, buddy? Got your tail. But I hate to say that because I don't want you to go out and do anything stupid with a rattlesnake like this thinking that it's going to be calmer, because they are a little bit calmer than like the Atrox or Western Diamondbacks, or they tend to be, but every snake has its own personality. But this is just a very beautiful rattlesnake. They're kind of heavy bodied. They get about 4 feet long in size. And what's interesting about these is out of all the North American rattlesnakes, these guys actually have the longest fangs proportionate to size. So the fact that this snake is a little snake, he still has some very big fangs for what he is. They also have a very large venom yield. So when some rattlesnakes will give you, 150, 200 meg of venom, the maximum yield recorded on these guys is about 530, 540 meg of venom. So that's a lot of venom. But it's relatively not all that toxic. There was I think it was done in 1934, 1932, there was a study done where they injected pigeons with the venom to see how toxic it truly was. And to pigeons, it was actually 45 times less toxic than the Mojave green rattlesnake. So it's definitely a snake that you want to take into account, that it's fully capable of killing a human, but it's very rare that anybody gets bit, even though they're very densely packed throughout their range. They are pretty common, but they're also relatively chill. A lot of times they won't even rattle. This guy's a little upset with me. He doesn't want to be YouTube famous. I understand, bud. But I absolutely love this black band of coloration right over the eyes. It's okay, I'm not going to touch your head. You're a little headshot, I get it. I don't know if you guys can see, but he's got a little bit of bedding into the front end of his mouth. You need to wash that out. Next time, go get a drink, wash your mouth. I brush my teeth for videos, you should brush yours too. I guess he didn't know he's going to be on video tonight. He forgot the date or something, I don't know. But just a very beautiful specimen. Very heavy bodied. And just pretty awesome. So like I said, these are pretty common in their range. They're not, threatened or anything like that. Part of their ranges might be threatened, but typically they're doing relatively decent. They are stable. There's 4 subspecies to these, Crotalus molossus being the nominate or the main species, and then there's 3 others. But just a very beautiful rattlesnake. So I actually just got 2 more of these, and I did do a video on a smaller one that I already had inside an earlier video I put up probably about 2 months ago. So if you guys want to go see that, you can check it out. He's not quite as impressive size-wise, but it's okay. Stop it. Stop making so much noise. You're making too much noises. As you see, he's pretty chill. Pretty cool little rattlesnake. I like him a lot. This, like I said, is one of my favorite species. Just very beautiful, very neat. What's up? How's it going? He's reading me with his heat-seeking pets. What's up, little guy? It's okay. Very, very pretty snake. So with those big fangs, those huge fangs, like I said, they're the biggest of all the North American rattlesnakes in comparison to size. So you take a 4-foot Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake, or you take a 4-foot blacktail rattlesnake. In theory, the blacktail rattlesnake should have bigger fangs. You take a 4-foot Western Diamondback, or you take a 4-foot blacktail rattlesnake, the blacktail rattlesnake should have bigger fangs. So with those bigger fangs, they can actually inject the venom deeper into the either the predator or the prey, and this is actually more of a devastating bite. And one thing that's not fully understood about these snakes is their ability to survive their own venom. There was a case back, I can't remember what year it was actually noted, but there was, I do believe, there was at least a pair of rattlesnakes put into the same enclosure, black-tailed, and they bit each other, and when this happened, within 28 hours, both rattlesnakes died. So in a lot of cases, if you have a rattlesnake bite another rattlesnake, they'll be okay. With this species, not necessarily. They're not sure if it's from the venom itself, or if it's just from the really long fangs inflicting damage on the organs or what have you. Now with that being said, their venom, like I said, is a little less toxic in theory. It is actually extremely it's pretty hemotoxic venom. I shouldn't say extremely hemotoxic, but it's a pretty hemotoxic venom. So that venom actually destroys blood cells, and it can also cause some necrosis of tissue. A lot of people say, well, cytotoxic venom is the correct term for that, and that's true. Cytotoxin is the toxin that destroys the tissue itself, but with any hemotoxin, you are going to get some tissue destruction. But what they found out with this snake is it will actually bite the prey item, and the prey item will live a little bit longer, and that way the venom is pumped throughout the system entirely before the prey item dies. Therefore, it actually starts pre-digesting the prey item. And one weird thing about the species, kind of like me, they don't fully understand how much they should be eating in a sitting. A lot of times they have noted, or scientists have noted, these guys will be sitting next to a regurgitated meal, something that they ate that was too big that they couldn't actually digest. They regurgitated and they're like, man, maybe I shouldn't eat such a big meal, but they just seem to never learn. So I know African rock pythons notably do the same thing. They typically eat items that are way too big. Their eyes are just bigger than their stomachs, as my grandma would say. But just a very cool species. I will be showing you a couple more later on into the future. I'm probably going to be getting rid of one of these. It's probably going to be going to a zoo that really wants one. So I'm glad to help those guys out get one. And it might be you because you're being mighty noisy. But I will show you the other two before any decision like that is made, so you get to see all 3 of them, or all 4 of them. I might show you the small one again. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, show all your friends. I would love to hit 50,000 subscribers by my birthday. That's the goal at least. Otherwise, check links down below for Venom Man merch, and come back soon for another video. Y'all have a great night.